the truth is out there, but so are lies.
And so the other big one happened today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming you saw this. Elizondo on Rogan.
Yeah, I didn't watch it yet, but that's been popping up.
Do you have any pre-watch comments? I don't know if you do. You intend on watching it?
I intend to watch it. It's like super. Okay, so I saw one clip and only one clip, and he did the like I can't talk about that. Like
The
I can't
summary.
really say, yeah, I can't really say anything about that right now. Due to legal issues, I can't comment on that at the moment. And that's all I say. Like, oh, this sounds familiar to me, is what somebody was saying.
Yeah.
More of that rhetoric is what some people felt that it was close to. This sounds familiar to me. I've heard this before, and look where that went. And that's what it's been. But it should be interesting, you know. I'm
Um,
I'm I'm excited to listen to it. I'm not gonna lie.
I heard the same clip. I think that's probably the one that's going around right now. It's about the underwater large object that was going. It was like 500 miles or something, or 600 miles, something like that. It was like really, really fast, and then they avoided it, and then he couldn't talk anymore about it. It's such big claims, and
I think because it
and
has the same thing, the same feel. Because it's like he was a former U.S. Army counterintelligence special agent and also officer of the under Secretary of Defense intelligence. So it's just like I think that's what it is. Like I was a former. I'm gonna say whatever I'm gonna say, but I can't really talk about this and 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 this. It's what it's gonna sound like.
yeah, I just don't know that it helps any of the conversation that he's in. He's also very criticized by Green Street, who basically has this guy labeled as a charlatan who's just coming out and
Well, maybe there's money to be made, bro. Maybe they all understand it that there's like a life after military that you get out of it. You could potentially make money if you were any type of intelligence.
well, here's a quote from Green Street, who on the Joe Rogan show, Lou Elizondo holds up a government document and claims it's a report on how UFO came in and interfered with our nuclear weapons. But it isn't true. Nowhere in the document does it even come close to saying that. And then he actually sourced up the document that's literally from the Rogan interview and posted on Twitter.
Saying like, hey, this isn't true.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with it. So it's one of those things where, when we're evaluating testimony from people, right? Claims of
Oh man.
an
He's
experience,
doing it for clout, bro. He's clout chasing. That's all right. I'm still gonna watch it though.
but it's just one of those things where it leaves a bad taste in my mouth when all the person has is their word in this situation. They don't have any physical proof. They don't have any even secondary witnesses. There's no secondary witnesses to a lot of the claims that they make. And then he pulls out this document it's meant to look like it's physical proof that something happened, which by the way, it's not, right? It doesn't, there could be anything written on there on that document. It could be wrong too.
Yeah.
We saw the CIA papers about all the weird shit that they did, with assumptions about like, oh, the sun and the moon and the stars align in the west, and then you sing your favorite song, and then you're on a space jam to, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's one
yeah.
of those things where it's just a physical piece of paper, which
It's like
is
one of the Russian
wrong.
soldiers that got turned into stone. It's just like a random piece of paper that they released to say the KGB
Yeah,
files said that hey, they had an incident in somewhere Ukraine where it turned into like 23 soldiers into stone.
yeah, yeah.
Who knows if it's
Absolutely.
real? Who knows if it's fact? Like it's just okay.
Yeah, it's just words on a piece of paper, and it's no stronger or weaker than any other testimonial piece of evidence. And but the problem is that you go on the Joe Rogan show and you bring out a piece of paper like that and make that claim, and you know what? It does feel stronger, and that's where I really take like I'm offended by it, because it's like he knows better, he knows what he's doing. It doesn't matter if he thinks in this utilitarian ethical way where it's like he thinks that he's right and that everybody else is wrong and everyone's trying to keep him down so he can do whatever he wants in order to make his case better, even lie. It doesn't work that way. I'm pretty sure if you pinned him down and he were an authentic person, that would be the only case where I think he could come out with a piece of paper like this and make those claims. So it's either he's a charlatan or he's disingenuous, he's manipulative, and he feels justified in it. And none of those things feel good to me.
Well, okay, so here's my problem, right? Like I've been researching this stuff for a long time, right? Like I've been in this field of Bigfoot, UFO conspiracy for a while already, right? And what I find is they have all similar, what is it? I'm not saying maybe traits or behaviors or characteristics. They all have the specific theme where they were already like pre involved with this. Like they
Yeah.
already had some type of research, or they already had a strong belief in it. And they always tend to be like hoaxers, fake, or they create a lot of that. Like they all have that same characteristic. They'll had some previous experience with it, or they have some previous belief, or they have a bunch of family members that believed in it. They all have it. Every single one in every aspect of like ghost, UFOs, cryptics, and which one am I missing? There's
Paranormal.
another
No, you said ghosts. Oh, aliens.
aliens. They all talked about that. Like their family, their Uncle Joe, they were all into it, right? And then something big happens and they boom, all of a sudden they get famous from it. Robert Patterson, he was way into this Bigfoot stuff. Roger Patterson, way before the Bigfoot stuff, he was into it. Travis Walton, before he got abducted, he was super into it. It's just that's ongoing with these people. Maybe they start believing their lies.
I think they absolutely do start believing their lies. Yeah, it's the other thing is like, what do they offer the public at this point? Like, I think he's here to sell a book. No, 2024 memoir. He's coming out with a memoir. That's what it is. So
He's got to
oh
make
he
his money, bro.
yeah he had early training in remote viewing too.
Oh Lord, bro. You said enough.
Yeah. Hey, here's a question though. Like this is kind of like a side question because I think that the one thing that I've noticed is that when you have someone like this guy right here who like he's known for the UFO stuff, but then you dig one layer deep and then you're like, "Oh, he grew up doing remote viewing and he grew up doing ghost hunting and stuff like that."
Like I said,
It's
they all have a pre
uh-huh.
thing on it. They all do, bro. They all of them, right? Like as you know, how I was like looking for shorts to talk about like strange stories and whatnot. And then
Yeah.
I read the wikis and they all have it. Every single one, every single person that has been into any field that like cryptic, UFO, alien, uh anything, paranormal, all into it. Oh, my grandma got me into it, and I was into it. I've been into it since I was like 5 or 6. Like, who the fuck gets into this shit at 5 or 6 years old? Like my family, they know you're crazy. That's what it means.
Do you think it devalues like if they're coming out to talk about UFOs and that's what they've done for like the last like 5 years or whatever? Do you think the remote viewing devalues it? The ghost hunting devalues what they're saying? Because they're like completely different fields of everything.
Yeah, but the it's like he's on the spectrum of crazy.
Okay, so you think it is a spectrum of crazy. That's what it
It's a
is.
spectrum of crazy. That's what it is. Look, Ryan, I I
Yeah.
I believe in all of that. I get into that, dude. But at no point was I hunting ghosts or Bigfoot or aliens when I was like 7 or 10, or maybe even like in my teenage years or young adults. Like never, never. The internet happened, and that's how I came across it. That's how I got into it.
Well, even for like adults, right? Because I think we see this a lot with people where it's like the interdimensional Bigfoot does not just come out of nowhere. It comes out of a person who believes in Bigfoot, believes in a certain way the world works. And you've seen the Bigfoot UFO theories too,
Yes,
right? Like you see a lot of crossover.
I low key believe. I'm a believer of that. I think they're put here.
Well, do you think it devalues because like I see them as like individual like areas, right? Like UFOs, in my opinion, don't have anything to do with Bigfoot. They don't have anything to do with ghosts.
Well, I think that's the thing, right? It's like you have one unexplained, going into another unexplained, and they're meshing. And sometimes that same group is the other part of the other group. Like aliens and Bigfoot. I believe in aliens and I believe in Bigfoot. Of course, they're going to be cross-platform. It's going to be the comic book version of this. The
Yeah.
X-Men versus the Avengers. That's what this is. And you're going to have cross-platform. They're gonna. It's the same universe. You don't think that like, oh, the Bigfoot and UFO have nothing to do with each other.
You have to think out of the box for any of this stuff, right? Like you're thinking about things that are outside of like normal your work day, your normal day-to-day life, right? And so you kind of already have to be a little on the creative side is the way that I would describe it, to be thinking about these things with your free time, just in general. So I could see where if you're just a creative person and you're exploring that kind of stuff, yeah, you might like pick and choose some things. But I think what I'm talking about specifically is I've seen a lot of people that are like, they're ghost hunters and they're ufologists and they're cryptids hunters, and they've seen them all. They've seen them all. All the cryptids hang out with the ghosts, and they have a bi-monthly meeting at the
Oh
Hotel
yeah.
7.
It's
Hotel
like I was
6.
like, yeah, I talked to the aliens from, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
God, Nebula 9. They're from Nebula 9. I talked to them. I have a direct line to them. I also have a Bigfoot backpack made out of Bigfoot pelt. I got it from a friend when we
Yeah.
went up north.
Yeah, and it seems like it's a little bit much. And then when you see a big name like this, who's going around and doing a memoir,
He's doing it for clout.
well, Cloud or sure, yeah. I'm sure this guy. I don't know, man. It's just I gotta be honest. I think that these are just scammers. I think they're scammers, dude. I think they got in here and maybe they believed the stuff at the start, but like now it's about the memoir.
This is crazy for me to say. Like, I was like, okay, I believe in UFOs. I believe in a lot of the cryptics. Like, I do believe in it. Bigfoot, Mothman, all of that. I believe in aliens. I've never seen any of them.
Yeah,
But to me, remote viewing sounds crazy, bro.
it's kind of wild.
The whole
Yeah.
fact that someone says like that just is like, I don't know. There's a level of like, how I say nerd that I'm willing to like tolerate. Like that's like too much.
Hey, it also looks like you don't get money for going on Rogan's podcast.
Yeah, I think you have to
So
be asked, right, to be on, and you
yeah,
just you just go.
yeah. So I guess he'll make money off of this by selling his memoir and getting exposure. But this is just a really interesting thing because it's like I can see why Joe would want to have him on the podcast because Joe Rogan loves UFOs and this guy's a major player in the space. But Jesus, man,
The remote viewing is what has me. That's where I draw the line.
do you know if people in the UFO subreddit buy into this bullshit that he's saying? Because I'm trying to read these
I don't
comments
know.
and they're all over the place about, and they're mostly about Joe Rogan, and this is the UFO subreddit. But the general sentiments are that there's a number of people that are very skeptical about anything that this guy says and are saying that in here. And there's phrases like, hey, we're well past just trust me, bro, was one of the comments that stood out, which is where I'm at with a lot of this stuff is it's just like we need some kind of physical evidence. There's a lot of people that are taking the things that he says at face value, and trying to run with it. So like that oil rig sized undersea vehicle that was going 600 miles per hour. There's some discussion around that. And I just want to know how hard is it to get just any physical evidence? Because it's like 4chan
Hard.
is not a great source for information.
But
A
that's where
leak
it
is
comes
not.
from. A lot of it comes from that. It's like, where else are you gonna post this? Like before, there wasn't like Reddit where you could go and post it. It was like 4chan. You would go to X and post about it. Like, dude, how many times have did you used to go to X? Do you know X?
I don't know X.
Oh my god.
Twitter, you mean?
4chan has a bunch of subcategories in it, from photography to paranormal. The paranormal is literally just called X,
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
as in
Gotcha.
X Files, right? And there is literally like a directory. The directory has a picture of says, "I want to. The truth is out there. I want to believe," or something like that. And all of this stuff, all the UFO stuff, and all the weird paranormal stuff used to get posted on this boards. So it get posted on the board X, and you would go on there and then read all of that. So it was like, it was
Right.
Reddit before Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where all of this stuff would get posted a lot of the time. God, I am sounding crazy. Very interesting stuff on X that I would find. I don't know if you know about that guy that found that weird catacomb underneath his home.
Yeah. No, I've
It,
heard
it
that
was
story.
it got
Yeah.
posted on X. That's where it got posted on. Also, it has weird stuff like how to summon your own personal demon. There's a board for it there.
Start with 1 pack of fentanyl. Mix vigorously with a bottle of vodka.
Oh man, that's some Kool-Aid.
Okay, so let's get an ending cap for this segment.
Okay.
What do you what's your take on Elizondo, and do you think we need more than just a person's word on this stuff?
Okay, so a person's word is no longer valuable anymore, because how many times have people come out and have said, "Hey, this is what's going on. This is what happened. This is what I did," and it ends up being not the truth, or it's just the truth bent significantly the wrong way. Jellyfish is one of the examples. So that's where I'm going with this. And if you don't understand what I mean by the jellyfish UFO, they like added more salsa to the tacos is the best way I could describe it.
More salsa to the tacos, or more salsa to the bowl of cereal is more like it.
Hmm. Oh man,
Gross.
they put
Yeah.
water in the cereal, bro. That's what they did.
Oh. So I'm totally with you on this one. I think he's a bad source of testimonial information. I think he's spent enough time mixing in half truths and lies and information that just you don't want to take him at face value. That I want to tune him out. I do intend on watching the full interview just to see what he said. I saw the MSNBC interview with him that was very brief, but overall, I hate that this is like the face of like the UFO movement personally.